They say time heals all wounds. But 10 years back in time, on Thanksgiving Day, in this house.
It was the worst day of my life, no doubt.
Jerry Armstrong says Brent and Charlotte Springford were prominent and well-respected in the community. Brent was the president of the Pepsi-Cola bottling company in Luverne, a company that brought in more revenue to Crenshaw County than any other there. Armstrong was Springford's right-hand man at Pepsi and his best friend, but also the person who found him and his wife dead inside their Montgomery Garden District home.
There was a lot of blood, lots of blood, and it was in a couple of different areas that it was very obvious that something really, really bad had happened.
And I get a call and hear about this, and it was one of those, what did you say? Kind of moments, and it didn't sink in at first.
Ellen Brooks, former district attorney of Montgomery County, knew the Springfords personally. She too walked the house and says what she found inside will forever be engraved in her mind.
The blood splatters, that's what I remember the most. The amount of blood and the fact that it was in so many different parts of the house. These were brutal murders.
Brooks says someone climbed through the only window that the home's alarm system did not protect.
Both Mr. and Mrs. Springford were literally chased upstairs and were initially beaten and didn't die immediately. And so the defendant went back with a knife to finally, as he put it, didn't want to hear him breathing anymore.
That suspect was the Springford's son, Brent Springford Jr., who investigators later found out drove from his Colorado home and waited in his parents' backyard. A multi-state investigation began, first in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where investigators collected evidence on the Springford's black Jaguar.
I left work and headed there immediately.
Shortly after, Alabama News Network got this phone call from Brent Springford Jr. himself.
I've heard that the detectives Myrick and Davis suspect me for the murder of my parents. I've heard they are trying to build a case against me, and I don't know what that is about. I cannot believe all this is happening. Please help. As I find out more information that I need to answer, I will call the media and let them know I am not hiding or avoiding anything.
Springford Jr. was later arrested in Colorado on capital murder charges and brought to Montgomery.
When it really was obvious that he had done what he had done, I just found that almost impossible to believe.
4 years later, a guilty verdict left the son serving life without parole. But in 2013, Springford Jr. committed suicide, overdosing on Tylenol while in state prison.
To me personally, when you have something taken away from you as precious as they were to me, I didn't have much sympathy for it. You know, I guess none.
As for the motive, police say Springford Jr. told them he was afraid his parents would cut him off financially. Armstrong says during that time, Springford Jr. was in a relationship with a Navajo Indian witch doctor, who he says played a negative influence in his life.
She really was on the reservation. From what I was told by Brent, she would, at the first of the month, and that was obvious because the checks come first of the month, she would make her rounds and treat people. And it's an accepted, from what I understand, an accepted way of treatment on the reservation. And it was quite lucrative from what I understand. She did very well with that. And I think she probably had a lot of influence on Brent. On Junior, I really do. I think she probably, I don't know if coerced is the right word, but I think she had a lot of persuasion on why he did what he did.
A home with a horrifying story.
When I drive by that house, I think about that case.
But a home Armstrong can no longer drive by, and a suicide, he says, does not leave him at peace.
No closure, nothing really changed.
Change and time, he says, will never heal his wounds.